Wake up. It's time for Primal Scream.
And welcome back to the Primal Scream. I'm Matt.
I'm Todd.
And today we have Kevin Bassett on today. Thank you, Kevin, for coming in.
Sure. Today.
Today.
That's great. Good job.
You're a jackass. Todd's with us. What a...
I introduced myself. Thank you for giving me a second take there.
Yeah. Hey, and if anybody is interested in getting a comedian or an entertainer, go to usaentertainmentagency.com. You can get an entertainer for weddings, festivals, fairs, corporate, college, media, blog, blah, blah, blah. Jeff Johnson, great guy. He also runs Penguins Comedy Club. Gets the talent down there.
It's awesome.
So we really appreciate him. He siphons in comedians as we can handle them. So that's always kind of nice.
Don't you siphon out? Do you
siphon in? Siphon in. We mix in.
I don't know where you're going.
Kevin, help me here. What's the proper verbiage here?
It's not siphon. I don't think we siphon in anything.
Manifest.
Manifest.
He manifests comedians to our podcast.
He lovingly shoves in our direction.
He gently forces them into our...
Exactly. Hey, also we have Sauce Hockey. Go to saucehockey.com. You can, click on, they have like little round flags. Go to your own little country, click on it. And then they have, if you're a hockey fanatic, if you love hockey and you're just like, you know what, there just isn't, besides jerseys,
right?
There just isn't anything for me. Ha ha! But there is.
Yes, there is.
There's hockey paraphernalia right here at saucehockey.com. You got t-shirts and hats, and they have something.
Those really nice cotton, that really nice soft cotton t-shirts too. That's
really
the best
nice
part.
soft. And they have cool little hockey, not logos, but sayings. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and only hockey people kind of get them because I don't.
Yeah.
Get them when I'm not a hockey guy.
Yeah, because if I were to say, man, that was great sauce. That's a hockey term. I have no idea.
I wouldn't. Is it really a hockey term?
It's a hockey term. When you hit the puck, I had to look it up on YouTube. Obviously, everything's on YouTube anymore. So if you hit the puck and the puck goes up and it kind of floats and then it lands perfectly flat right to whoever you're passing it to, he's like, man, that was great sauce.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
Wow. That's neat.
Well,
the cool part is that he's getting a lot of NHL people are starting to wear his clothes, which is kind of, you see him at like press conferences and they have one of his hats on or something like that. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, and he does have pretty cool
He's from Cedar
apparel.
Rapids. He went to Kennedy High School. Gotta love it.
He did, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I always forget that. So anyway, you want anything like that, go to saucehockey.com and order yours today. Kevin Bassett. We're going to skip the whole Cards Against Humanity. We're going to get into current events and Kevin Bassett. Kevin, if at any time you want to like chime in on current events, you got a particular opinion, you got
cool. Is there anything current that you've heard about that you thought was cool that's happening right now?
It doesn't have to be negative.
That was cool.
Doesn't have to be
Not
cool.
really.
Not really.
I mean, pretty much everything on the media is negative. So
It is definitely.
Generally, you are correct, sir. But you
Yeah.
know what? We've been doing this for a little while now, and we were getting sucked into that negative vortex of CNN and Fox and all that crap.
Yeah.
But if you go to
The Good News Network.
no, not it's just
Good News Network.
Network.org. That kind of gives you the warm fuzzy news,
Really?
right? Yeah. And you can click on whatever you like there. But great grandmother jums out of plane for 100th birthday. You don't generally see that on Fox News.
Right.
Oh, I thought an interesting one that I read was there's Chile is starting to use drones to help out with like rescuing people who get caught like in the ocean. If you get, instead of a lifeguard on the beach, they have drones that'll go out and hover over you with a life vest or drop you a life vest.
Wow.
That would probably
That's
be a lot smarter than somebody paddling out and then they're fucking tired and then somebody's drowning them as they're dragging back in.
Well, and you're trained to be able to handle all that, but why take the risk if you don't have to and just zip it out there, drop a life vest, and you're done.
There's a story about a paralyzed woman who flies, she flew a jet fighter on screen using only her thoughts.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's right there. It's right there on the Good News Network.
Well, if you go to ifuckinglove science as well.com, They have the most incredible stuff on there.
What is it?
IF
IF Science?
LS. Yep.
IFLS?
Yeah, I feel bad sometimes posting on Facebook because the stuff they put on there is so cool, but I have so many friends who are like, "You have to swear," and I'm
do
like,
they have to?
It's not me. It's
Yeah.
just the way that Facebook says it."
I'm
So,
sorry.
Yeah,
We're not
I
trying to be
apologize.
overly
I'm trying,
gratuitous.
Yeah,
But when you have to, you have to. Kevin, no. God, I keep going back to Kevin. Todd, what do you have for current events, man?
I was just gonna say that Costa Rica just spent their first full year with using nothing but renewable energy. So everything that was on the grid for Costa Rica this entire year, they made themselves.
Isn't that where you took your lady and I took my
When we were married in the past,
other lady?
we were both married, and yes, we went to Costa Rica. Yeah, but it wasn't like that luxury on the beach with a drink kind of thing. It was more of we did a 9-mile river hike.
Yeah.
We went
to rappel down a waterfall.
We rappelled. We ascended 120-foot canopy trees.
Yeah, we did that.
It was like I remember being exhausted when I got home.
I have a couple of do's and don'ts. Okay. Do go to Costa Rica because it's cool as shit. Don't. That's really my only do. There's another do. There's the name. I don't remember the name of the all-inclusive resort that we stayed at, but it was pretty cool. It was in the rainforest and all natural. But that's another do. But I don't have the name. But a don't. Here's a don't. Don't walk in the rainforest with fucking sandals.
No.
The best part was that he goes, "An ant bit me," and so he reaches down and grabs a carpenter ant, and I shit you not, it's like an inch long. And it's got those big mandibles on the front. He goes, "God damn it," and grabs it and tries to crush it with his like this to kill it. And it just sits there and goes, "Ha!" and then bites his hand.
So you were walking through the.
I didn't realize we were going to go in the goddamn rainforest. I mean, I thought we were just going to go on like this nice trail. I've never been on a trail that. Normally, when someone says, we're going to go walking on a trail, I go on a paved trail,
right,
or like a trail
An
that's
Iowa
like,
trail is through the woods.
It's a
trail.
distinct trail. Like there's no weeds on the damn trail,
Right.
But not this trail, not in the rainforest.
It was awesome. God, it was so cool.
Yeah, just don't wear shoes. The other one is don't take one step off the road to take a piss. Don't ever do that in the middle of the night.
Anywhere.
We're all anywhere down there. We were staying at a hostel.
Okay.
And we were on. I'm trying to think of what site. We were on the black sand beaches. Remember the black sand beaches?
Oh yeah.
So Todd's ex-wife and my ex-wife were walking ahead of us, and we're talking. We're like, oh God, this kind of sucks. I got to take a piss. I'm drunk. My lady's upset with me because I'm drunk, and I got to take a piss. I take one step off the road, right? I'm kind of dressed up. We're going to go out to eat.
It's rural.
It's rural.
Yeah.
I'm a little dressed up. One step, right leg, whomp, up to my thigh in mud. He had to drag me out of it. One step, just up to my groin. Actually, it was up to my groin. So here I go walking into where we're going to eat. Shorts on, one leg covered in mud. Don't do it. That's my do's and don'ts of Costa Rica.
One of my memories is laying on my back, having sex, looking at the ceiling, and I see these huge lizards on the inside of the roof.
Right.
I was not prepared for that.
Did it ruin the mood?
No, but it still made me go, oh hey there.
Yeah, I'm from Iowa. Most people would be like,
Yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah.
Is that it?
We'll eat that later. That was my one memory of. That was one of the ones that sticks out to my head. And I had these awesome Timberland boots that I took with me. And then we went on the river hike, and I came back and kicked them off on the deck and thought, well, they'll dry out because they're wet and soppy. I get out the next morning, and they look like two fuzzy moon boots because they're covered in mold. Because I didn't know.
Just right here, right now.
So I just stuck them in a bag. They're like $150. So I tied them in a bag, got back here, took them to that leather place in Lindale Mall, and I wore them yesterday.
Really? You still have them?
Oh, yeah. 15 years old. They're the most comfortable leather boots ever. They're broke in. I love it.
Kevin, I'm going to ask you something. And
Bring it.
we'll cut this out of the podcast as I get it prepped. But have you ever seen this guy?
You do not understand
Not this. Reggie Watts.
Oh, you're playing my favorite TED Talk.
I just real quick. And then
Reggie Watts.
And then explain to me
Yeah,
what
I've seen this guy.
you have.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Can you use it forward to the
He's
good part?
talented.
Measure, the background radiation is simply too static.
It's even more jarring when you jump ahead and he does his different accents.
Right.
His hair is awesome.
And he's going to start using a machine pretty soon, a device, and maybe you can tell me what it is.
Yeah,
because it's
amazing.
nuts.
This guy's amazing. He can make a living doing this, just making noises.
And
with
he's
his
a
mouth.
comedian.
Yeah, check him out. Yeah. Yeah, he just uses these loopers.
It's a looper.
I don't know what brand he uses or what they're called, but they're like just loop machines. You can speak into them, play a beat into them, whatever, and it loops it however many counts you want, whether it's 4 counts, 8 counts, 16 counts.
Oh, wow.
It'll loop it, and you can stack them up. And he uses all
Holy
these
cow.
effects pedals and stuff. It's crazy, man. It's real crazy.
I'd never seen anything. I mean, I've seen looping before, but I had
Yeah.
never seen anything. My kids freak. We play this video like once a day. They love that.
Yeah, I
He's
really
now
like that guy a lot.
He's now the band leader for there's the new talk show. Craig Ferguson is done with his talk show, and they hired another guy to take his place. And they want to do it before Stephen Colbert came out for the David Letterman show because they think that's just gonna go crazy. No, they expect it to do awesome. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I have this
Come
weird
on.
feeling that Stephen Colbert is going to tank.
I think he's gonna do fucking
Because
incredible.
he was
He's
so
hot. He's
he was
hot right now.
he is
he's
hot,
so talented.
but he's hot for that character. Everyone loved that character, and yes, he does great on movies when he's again playing a character. But we don't know him.
I think the demographic may change as far as who his audience is, but I think his numbers will be solid because it's just a different type of people that like what he does. You
Right.
know? So
And he's really smart. He's
Yeah.
very, very smart.
He's super smart, and he did improv 5-6 years in Chicago, and then he did a lot of things coming up. I mean, he was in a musical on Broadway, singing and dancing. I mean, the guy is.
I'm just going to really miss the Colbert Report.
I'm sure he'll bring that character out once in a while. I would
Yep.
assume, or maybe he's going to be totally, distanced from it. But I would think he would be bringing that in pretty good.
well, I mean, he's a smart aleck. I'm sure that's not going to change. So that's who he'll be.
I can't wait.
You know?
When did you start messing around with music? All right, explain to people at home and people driving their cars, listening to this, because we're getting listened to everywhere, all the time. It
Okay.
drives them crazy. What exactly do you do?
Musically, I consider myself just a creative. I'm a DJ. I'm a producer, and a musician. So all those things. I started with music when I was probably 2-3 years old. Okay, I was a mama's boy. I was always around my mom, and we were in the kitchen, and she just like threw pots and pans on the ground and gave me the cardboard hanger, the white little cardboard things. And I just started banging on them, whatever. And of course, mommy's like, "Oh, good, sounds good, whatever." I'm like, "Yeah." So I just developed a passion for that. Now, my family, my grandfather, he's been the presiding bishop of our state for the Church of God in Christ for like, I think it's 37, 38 years.
Really?
Yeah. So I grew up in the church, and when I was probably 4 or 5, I started playing the drums in church. Okay. So I did that forever, and I developed a passion for it when I was young and I was sitting in my mom's lap and I was in church, just church service, gospel church going on, sitting on her lap, and there's music going, and like, the gospel church is just real lively. And I remember seeing a mist, like literally like a mist come into place, and people just starting to cry and do all this stuff. And I remember looking over in the music section, and I remember that having something to do with it. It played a huge part in raising the spirit up. And from that day on, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I want to do that. So started playing the drums in high school, started DJing in about 97, 98, techno and house music. And that's my gift. That's one of my gifts, so yeah.
97, 98. Now that was right at the time where I discovered porn on the internet. Now listen, I'm going to bring
correlation.
this. No, I know. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it back around to something whole.
Making me nervous.
Something
I can only
whole and
imagine how
pure.
Kevin's feeling.
I'm going to bring it back around.
All
It
right.
is 97, 98. That was, at that point, that is when computers, home computers, Napster,
Yep.
all that stuff was blowing up on the scene.
Yep.
And it was almost like you couldn't keep up with technology. And
Still
it
can't.
seemed like every other month there was a new product that it would blow your doors off.
Well,
right?
We'll
'Cause you
talk
listen
about
to
John
it.
Legend later because Kevin's got some association with some stuff that he mixed.
Yep.
But the first time I ever heard John Legend was like a bootleg tape of him playing live somewhere off of, I don't know if it was Napster, but it was one of those free sites that you would download all that music from.
Right. There was Napster and LimeWire and all these things. Did you use the computer and stuff like that right off the jump, or were you still into the CDs?
Okay.
How did you transition through that?
I'm not really transitioned yet, to be honest with you. I don't think I'll ever transition totally to digital gear for performing out live.
I think you use turntables still, don't you?
Turntables,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's nothing against people who do that. It's just more organic. It's more natural. It takes more energy and talent to match beats with turntables, in my opinion. It's like, what was your question again? Before I
I just like all that technology was hitting
Yep.
right at the same time that you were
Yep.
finding your passion and doing house music and stuff like that. And I didn't know if any of that stuff influenced
Huge
how you
influence.
did
Huge
your
influence. Yeah. Okay, so as far as live performance, like DJing, I still use turntables. And whenever I can incorporate technology that doesn't take away from me using turntables into it, I'll use it. But that area you're talking about, I got involved with the DAW, Digital Audio Workstations, I believe it is. Could be wrong, so I may have to edit that out. What it is, it's like Pro Tools, okay, and just like software that you can produce music with. So I got involved with that, started using that stuff back in like 2000, and started producing music. Now, when I produce, I do incorporate, I play the piano. So I always record into my computer, then kind of mix it down, do whatever with it. So yeah, right now, the releases I have coming out, half of it was produced just on a laptop with tons of programs and plugins, and the other half was just from a piano, So, it's everything. It's everything.
And to look at where we were in 97, 98, and to look at where we're at now, like you said, half of your stuff is just from the computer, the other half from the piano. But you
Yep.
can plug all these instruments into
Yeah.
your computer,
Yeah.
and you can slow them down. You can change the beat. You can.
Yeah.
It's like having a professional mixer.
Yeah.
Like in the old days when we would look at a production studio and the mixing board was like 10 feet long, and it just blew everybody's mind because you're like, what the fuck? What's with all these buttons? I don't know what all these things are
They
for.
still have those though. Are they necessary? Or are they still important in parts of music?
It depends on who you ask.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't really think it's necessary, although I'd love to have a a huge board in a $1 million studio. But I mean, nowadays you can just buy a handful of programs that does all that stuff. You know?
Right.
Wow.
And
So-
and those aren't cheap either.
Yeah.
Those aren't cheap either. Some of those, but you can those programs. But you can do a ton of stuff with
Anything.
GarageBand.
Yep.
Like I use Adobe Audition, the whole Adobe package.
Yep.
You know, that helps me out a lot.
I use that too.
I don't think I could I could still do some stuff with like iMovie,
Mhm.
you know, but there's just there's a certain level of technology that you need to have to kind of break that membrane and pass what you can do a little bit, but what you're really going to produce and put out there, like I couldn't
It's going to be limited.
It's going to be very limited.
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't be good; it'd still be good, but it would be limited.
It just all really depends, you know. Like with Audition, for instance.
Mhm.
I mean, you could open up Audition, play a piano, you know, track, recording, whatever you want to call it, for 5 minutes, then plug in a guitar, play that for 5 minutes on top of it, then plug in an electric piano, play that over top for 5 minutes, and that's a song right there. You know, the only thing that people will say is the sound quality, and that's just a matter of opinion. You know, I'd rather capture the moment raw than
Mhm.
have perfect sound quality and have the track just sound
Basic kind of
basic, you know.
Have
So
you
it just
heard? Have
depends
you
on the
listened to?
end.
Have you heard about Pono yet? Have you heard about that?
Is Pono the recording studio where they have artists come in, or am I thinking of a different thing? I thought I was going to bring up the recording studio where they say, "Hey, we're going to record on tape or on."
And you step in that little booth.
No, it's not digitized. I'm sorry. They have
Well,
they have
Pono-
musicians come in and they record what they're going to do, and it's just that's it. If you
Right.
screw up, you got the screw up, and people are really loving that sound.
Well,
because
Pono
so much
is
other stuff is
Neil Young
synthesized.
from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young from way back in the day. He designed his own like iPod kind of thing called Pono, but what it is though is it looks like a Trobolone bar. You know the triangle Trobolone chocolate bar. You ever had that before, Kevin? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It looks like a triangle prism kind of, right? And it only has digital music on it. Sorry, it only has music on it that is from like vinyl. It's recorded differently so that you have that warm feeling that vinyl has,
Mhm.
and not the pingy tangy kind of
Mm-hmm.
iTunes digital thing. And so these players are like $500. They're not cheap, but supposedly they have. He said if you really love music, you can listen to it and you'll tell the difference.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Fallon, I think he was on Jimmy Fallon's show, Jimmy Fallon said, I had one of my buddies, I put headphones in, stuck the headphone jack in my iPod and played a song, and then stuck it in the Pono jack and played a song. And I could tell right away that it was this Pono music because it was warmer, had more depth.
Stuff that comes from music that you purchase from iTunes, the quality of it it's not good. It's
Well,
really not.
The hard part is too is that if you're gonna have a turntable, you have to have a decent turntable. Because I mean, everybody's
really?
like,
Techniques. all
well,
the
you
way.
have to have a good
No,
turn.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking of a record player. I
Yes,
wasn't thinking.
and I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to associate like turntable. I meant yes, a record player. You have to have a
Okay.
good record player to hear music off of it. I have this shitty little thing, and it sounds kind of shitty. You know what I mean?
But don't you think it's kind of the difference between like right now, this recording or any of our previous recordings? If you listen to our podcast with headphones on, you may hear from time to time one of our kids stomping across the ceiling, or across the floor up above us, or them yelling at each other in the room next to us. But that's only because we have headphones on. Is it like that big of a difference? Like listening to something without headphones, listening to something with headphones?
I've heard records on good record players, and they sound great. And I've heard records on my record player at home, and it's okay. I can just tell that it's okay. It's not the greatest thing in the world. And it's just because it's a very cheap, basic record player. I think it's like anything. If you have a good record player, you're going to have better music. But I don't think you have to necessarily buy expensive. What do you think? No?
I guess it depends on. How much money you want to spend, and the more money spent on a record player or whatever, it should sound better. But my opinion is, as far as technology, and science goes, what technology and science is it tries to recreate what's already been done. Okay. For instance, so like if I'm in here playing the piano or playing the guitar, to record that, I mean, you're recording it and trying to recapture that moment and reproject that moment to somebody. You can't do that. It's not possible. It's just not possible. So with our technology today, the digital sound, it's like, it's not even real, really. It's not real. And if you're into music and you listen to a lot of stuff, I mean, you can tell the difference, but analog stuff is where it's at and just live stuff is where it's at. And I'd rather have a hot moment captured, dirty, with hiss or somebody stomping or banging on a wall, than to have, again, digitally, like no hiss, no nothing. That's just not
Right.
That's not what you hear. It's not natural.
Well, it's like CGI being so shiny and sharp and perfect. You can look at it and say, that's not real. Not because it doesn't look real. It looks almost like it's too real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on like maybe like the first 40 podcasts or 30 some, when it was just audio, I would go through and take out almost every I could.
Yeah.
I was like painstakingly
crazy bastard.
And he had a lot of ums.
What?
I had to give you a hard time.
I know.
I'm not going to be nice just because Kevin is here.
You're fine.
But I was doing that a lot, and I found myself overdoing it, and it didn't sound natural.
Right.
Because I was trying to be too perfect, with Joe Rogan. We loved the Joe Rogan podcast. We talk about them all the time. And he's like, no, you just had to have a conversation, and if somebody belches or if somebody does whatever, or somebody says, whatever, that's conversation.
Yep.
It doesn't annoy you when you're having the conversation.
Yep.
So why would it?
And I told him, I said, it's because you're sitting there listening for it. If you were just listening to the conversation, you probably would miss half those ums because it's just part of normal conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Does the ease of technology now, I'm trying to think of what I compared this to with a previous guest, but like I can use these softwares and I can try to put together something. I fumbled together our intro music, and I tried to make our outro music just a little bit different than the generic sound that we got from, I think it was iMovie.
Yeah.
But does that ease of technology, when it comes from somebody, when you're looking at it, somebody who has loved music and has been into it your whole life, and then you see some Dillrod come around, he's like, I don't really know anything. I don't play any music.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to read music, but I threw together something I think is good, and people are dancing to it. And then you hear it, and is it like fingernails on chalkboard?
It used to be when I was younger, in regard to just the average Joe, bedroom guy, bedroom producer making stuff.
I like that term.
Yeah. It used to bother me, when my ego was different when I was younger. I used to think, oh, I'm good. I'm a good DJ. I'm a good producer. Like, I'm better. Like, I'm good. But really, I realized that I'm not any better or worse than anybody else. I'm just gifted. Like, I have my gifts. Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is. It's not compared to anything or anybody else. So in that regard, it doesn't bother me. In the regard of who's a producer, who's a DJ, and who's not, it's like what we said about the Colbert report. Everybody has their own demographic. So there's people out there from the 7 billion people on Earth that if they could lay their eyes and ears on me, they would say, yes, I love this dude, man. And there's just as many people that would say, I don't really like him. So there's somebody for everybody. I don't really pass judgment, I mean, sometimes I hear music and I'm just like, that's terrible. If I'm being real honest, you know, but for the most part, I mean, it didn't really bother me that much.
But you don't find yourself being like a music snob. Or can you listen to music and just enjoy it? Or when you listen to it, do you always break it down?
Yes. No, I don't always break it down. When I'm in my car, if somebody was in my car, like if my wife was in my car before me and she's listening to country, like I think music is for the moment. So like if I'm in the car and country's playing, I'll write it out. I'm serious. I'll write it out.
Red Solo Cup.
And I'll find myself captured in that moment, in that person, in their energy. honestly, if it's like, blues playing in the car, I'll ride it out. If I'm on a 4-hour trip, whatever's playing is playing. It's for the moment.
Do you have issues with people? And I'm not talking about the feud between Kanye West and Beck, but when you hear things like Beyonce having 5 songwriters and 27 people producing it, do you think that takes away from that kind of essence? Not that I don't think Beyonce is bad. I think she's pretty incredible. But do you think it takes away when you've taken that person and you've kind of set them off up here? Obviously, she has a great voice. But then you have this humongous group of people that are working on this one sound for her. I mean, it seems like I don't know, is it muddle it down, water it down kind of? Because I mean, the big thing was that Beck did, played how many instruments and produced everything himself and wrote it all himself.
It wasn't the fact that this guy was comparing basically an apple to an orange. Wasn't he basically saying Beyonce is a better artist?
Is a true artist.
Is a true artist. And I mean, she sounds great and she dances well, but is the award being given to Beck because he can play all these different instruments, because he can break down his album because it was him? I'm just wondering, was it a confusion?
That was the conversation after, was why would you be giving Beck shit when he does all these things as an artist? And she did her thing as an artist, but she didn't do it on her own.
Okay, so you're asking whether Beck or Beyonce should have won the award?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that. Do you think that?
No,
that doesn't matter to me as much as. Do you think that when you have an artist like Beyonce, obviously very talented, when you get her, you get so many people between her and the music that's being made? Do you think it can get watered down and kind of get? I mean,
no, not really, because in the music business, from what I know of it, and I don't know everything about the music business. I just, I think that Beyonce is the artist that's being sold to us. That's what we're intaking into our brain. We're listening to her, we're watching her. And if we watch her, and we listen to her and she performs it well, because there's nobody else that can perform those songs like she performs them. Right. But at the same time, there's nobody else that could write the songs like whoever wrote the song. So it's just it's a team thing, and she's the one that reaps the benefits and the rewards from it. That's just how the industry works.
And maybe the point is not that Beyonce or Beck or one is better than the other. It was that Kanye West felt it was his role to step in and say, "You're great, you're not, and this should not happen." Maybe that's probably the issue, because obviously they're both artists. It's a good point. Can I have one of those too?
No.
It looks tasty.
Do you want one?
Beer?
I'm good.
You sure?
I'm positive.
All right, I'll call you a cab if you need one.
It looks tasty.
I'm sorry we've missed you a couple times. Chuck Kavanaugh, our buddy, mutual buddy, has told us about when you've been DJing, and then Steve Schreiber has told us as well.
Yep.
When things are coming up, and I haven't had a chance to get down there.
Yeah, it's tough though. It's tough around here because it's not really my demographic. Honestly, I mean, between 97 to like 2005 was like the real rave, like dance scene. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were in high school. We could rent out like a warehouse. I don't know how we did it. I don't even remember how we could pull these things off. But we'd rent out a big warehouse. And we'd fly in DJs from all over the world. Okay, spend thousands of dollars like on a system. Have 1,000 people come and just party out. It's just different now. So nowadays, it's EDM.
Okay.
You've heard that term, EDM?
I've heard it, but I don't understand it.
Junior goes to that music festival every year in Soldier Field, and that's all he does for 3 days straight is listen to EDM music.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. EDM is different from house or techno. It's a completely different thing.
Remember that I played you that Native American song, and it was God damn it! But it had a drum beat and Native American singing with the drum, and then it started going or like that. And you're like, "Fucking turn this shit off! You're gonna drive me crazy." Yeah. And I said, "Well, I wanted you to hear the Native American drumming and singing, which I thought was really neat." Mm-hmm. But then that whole EDM part started. And you're like, "Okay, I'm good, thanks."
Well,
so that's what he's talking about.
I'm gonna play this for you. This is one of my buddy's favorite DJs, and then tell me, is this EDM or what is it
I'll tell
exactly?
you.
New Flonase allergen
All right, not
relief
this.
nasal
This
spray.
stupid
Now
commercial.
available over the counter in full
I think this is EDM.
He's a crossover, kinda.
Carl Cox.
Yeah.
That Carl Cox and his Revolution Party has taken control.
I would consider him a kind of a.
Is this an
Oh, that's kind
ED,
of nice.
is this an EDM type party or what? I don't get it. I don't know.
I think EDM's a younger crowd than that too.
Well,
But I don't know. I'm not there, so.
he's kind of a crossover guy. That's my opinion. That's how I see him. Meaning
Okay.
that he'll play more like EDM stuff as well as techno or house stuff.
Okay.
This stuff right here is kind of techno-y ish, you know. But it's not like hard techno. It's like
Casual techno?
there you go.
Easy
I like that.
listening.
Casual-
Easy listening
casual
techno.
The techno that I play and make is more hard.
Okay.
It's more hard.
Is there more bass to it, or what's the difference?
I tend to put a lot of bass in my stuff.
Okay. Nice.
You know, but it's just different.
Do you mind if I play this off of your Facebook page?
Go ahead. This is more hard techno.
This one right here?
Yeah. But this mix that I did, it's techno and house though.
Now, how do you define techno and house?
How do I define it?
Well, I mean,
Okay.
if you're listening to it, and if you're new to this, you know, like I'm new to it, but if you're listening to something and I'm wondering, is this techno? Is this EDM? Is this house? How do you kind of break it down? Or is it a feeling when you listen to it?
Techno, how I define techno has a more analog synthetic sound,
Okay.
and EDM type music is more digital. I mean, that may not make sense. I can tell the difference just because I know.
Right.
Like if something's made from a computer, there's no other analog types of equipment used. I feel like I can tell. And then the methodology of how it's laid out plays a role in that. God, it's tough to explain. I don't even know if I can explain.
Do you prefer house over techno, or do you like they hand in hand for you, or what?
I don't know. When I started DJing, I played techno first,
Okay.
just for whatever reason. It's what I had access to, you know. House music is more musical. House music, okay. Here's how I explain house music.
Sweet.
House music is the cousin of disco. House music is people from Chicago trying to reinvent disco music.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right.
So-
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, or just what
Depends
it
on
is?
who you ask. Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
I love disco because there's instruments. I mean,
Sure.
to have a disco song, you had to have a group of, 5, 6 to 10 people that played instruments. Drums,
Sure.
guitars, pianos, horns, shakers, strings. And that's a very, very difficult thing. I mean, nowadays you don't hear of like a lot of new bands coming about because you don't need them.
Right.
You can have one person playing the guitar and they can have a backtrack from a iPhone or an iPad, just like playing. It's just me, So yeah, disco was where it's at to me.
I think it's amazingly creative when people can do that, do all those things with that technology.
Yeah.
But there's something to somebody saying, "Oh, hey, I play guitar. What do you play? I play bass. Awesome. Do you know somebody plays drums? Yeah, he plays drums." And you pull this group of like-minded people together to do something.
It's special. There's something special about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I saw a young lady. Amos Lee was in town 2 or 3 months ago. One of my favorite
Artists.
Sorry.
There you go. I'll help you put together your sentences for you.
And before he started, some young lady came out and sang and played the guitar, and then she pulled out what I thought was an iPad, and she started playing that while she was singing, and it was the craziest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, the things that she was able to make this thing do to kind of back up what she was singing was astounding. I mean, it was just, I had never seen technology like that before.
That stuff is definitely cool. I mean, I like to see stuff like that too. I just think that it can't replace if you see a really gifted, talented person play their instrument,
Right.
Yeah.
or band, you just can't replace that. Because there's more energy behind it. You know, like there's more soul, more energy behind it.
Especially when they're good. Because you know Evan Stock from the Evan Stock band here in town?
I don't.
He's a really good guitar player, and he's got a band. And I mean, I like Gary Clark Jr. I like a lot of great guitar players that are out there nowadays. But Evan Stock blew my socks off. He did Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix warming up. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I mean,
Right.
usually you can hear. I mean,
Was your expectation super low, and he
No,
just blew away your expectations?
maybe it's my prejudice of saying I'm in Cedar Rapids,
Oh,
Iowa.
he's a young guy.
He's a young
It's
kid.
young
We're in
band.
Cedar Rapids. Who the hell's around here that has that kind of talent? But so I wasn't thinking that Evan was going to be bad. I was just not expecting that level.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, I don't go to concerts. I've never been. I don't like crowds. I think it's the crowds, and there's another aspect to concerts that I wasn't used to. It's kind of like you have a glass, right? A glass of something to drink, and you're expecting it to be soda, and you drink it and it's milk.
Right.
Not that milk is bad, but you weren't expecting that,
Right.
So you're almost like. You almost had that little gag. I've been to who is the jazz, was it jazz guy in North Carolina?
Eric Clapton.
Thank you.
He's not.
Okay,
he's
it
not
wasn't Eric.
jazz.
It wasn't jazz. Eric Clapton, blues, right? Bluesish.
I think he was in Bread as well.
Yeah, and I got yanked out of that one before it was over with. Still, that's a whole nother story. But what I was kind of seeing when I was growing up was this idea that everything had to be perfect on the cassette,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go see somebody live, and they're nothing like that live.
Yep.
But now I go to see somebody who I've never listened to on their CD. The one-man band plays locally. We had him on the podcast.
Terry McCauley.
Okay. And when he's playing his 12-string guitar, and he's live, and he's 10 feet from you, and I get I'm just focusing on his fingers. Like I get hypnotized by that type of, you become one with an instrument. And when that happens, when you're watching something that's just, I don't have that talent. I'm not gifted that way. So when you see somebody with a gift, like really profoundly good, I just get sucked into that. And I can't get that, like you said, I can't get that from listening to the radio. Like if I were to, some of the unplugged stuff that was on MTV
Back in the day. Nirvana Unplugged is pretty
right, where they were just sitting on the stool and they would just go straight up acoustic and sing a song in front of a bunch of people, you'd kind of get sucked in again, to that type of thing, which I think you're right. The kind of the synthesized, watching somebody hit buttons on a computer type device, it's cool.
It's cool.
Reggie Watts, undeniably talented, amazing, but I don't get sucked in like I would watching a drummer going crazy. Because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, how does he know that the little drum is going to make that? Why is he hitting that one instead of any of the easier ones? Why is his arms crossed? And all of these questions are running through your mind a million miles a second. And it's almost like all of that sucks you into the performance more.
Yeah. Again, it's what technology and science does. It tries to recreate what's already been created. So if you're recording something, you're recording it, then you're going to try to reproduce it. Like say here, here's the performance, right? But it's not really the performance. It wasn't live, right? So, the original tunes, seeing people play live, it's always better. Real instruments, it's always better. You can feel their energy. You can see their gift and talent. It's just better. I don't care what anybody says.
And it's just there's something a little bit lost when
with technology.
Like for me, when I grew up and it was nothing but radio, cassettes, CDs, and I never went to any concerts. So when I put my expectations at that level,
yeah,
and I go, okay, this is what music should sound like, and then I go and watch a concert and I go,
yeah,
no, it was different. I'm so used to this. I'm so used to Velveeta cheese that I'm not used to like some cheese that's got some mold on it.
I always say
because
your analogies are the best. I have a question for. Hey, would you pull up A Tribe Called Red?
A Tribe Called Red.
If you can you recommend a great like techno dance place in Chicago, or your favorite? If there's that many, I didn't know there was that many.
I guess Smart Bar.
Smart Bar,
maybe, but to be honest with you, it's just a lot of stuff is watered down now, man. It's just it's different. It's just
and I really don't. I mean, I like some EDM music, but not all of it, and so I don't want to go to. Is Smart Bar EDM or is it
your chance of hearing good house or techno is high there.
Sweet. That's all I care about.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is EDM there, And I'm not knocking EDM.
Sure.
I'm just saying that, my gift, my talent, my ear is geared towards hearing raw techno and house, just for whatever reason. And I like to hear real instruments in songs. If it's going to be house, I don't really like to hear. Oh, that's not true. It's just different. It's just
sure. My wife graduates with her doctorate next month, and
really?
so, or I'm sorry, not just graduate. You're
going to be celebrating.
She's going to defend her dissertation, and so I want to go dancing. Yeah. She's a horrible dancer, but I love to dance.
Yeah.
And so I said, we've got to go as a
Elaine?
Celebration. Yeah. She's very much Elaine dancing. Yeah. That's the best.
In Chicago?
In Chicago. So I wanted to take her somewhere that we can go dance. So,
when you're making your music, do you start with the idea of, I want to infuse this emotion, and then try to recreate what is in your head about the emotion that you're trying to create? Or are you thinking of, you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I have this thing in my head that I think that would work out pretty good. And then when you're done with it, you're like, oh, that song that I just created elicits this. I mean, which do you go back and forth, one creating the other? Or?
Okay, this will probably sound really deep. Okay,
I love it.
But I consider myself to be like a channel. Okay. So like, whatever's coming out of me is being channeled or coming from another place, right?
Okay.
So like the stuff that I put out, the stuff I let people hear was channeled through me, and I have to ready myself and prepare myself to produce it and lay it down. So rarely do I sit down and say, okay, I want to make a song like this. If I do, it's just not good. It's just not raw and natural. So I've learned to like let myself be freer and learned to just like listen to the energy, the universe around me. And, whatever comes through me comes out. Okay. Like all my music, There's a song I did with that's coming out in April with Ryan Phelan. Have you guys ever heard of Ryan Phelan? Yeah, I was in my studio, my laboratory, whatever you want to call it. One day I was laying down some chords, whatever, just that came out of me, just like boom, 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 lay it down, record it. He came over to just hang out. He has a guitar with him. And I was like, lay something down. And we just had a moment. It was just a moment. It was raw. And everything that he did is just raw. Everything I did is just raw. There's no rehearsal. There's no cuts. It's just like raw. And that's the best stuff. So I just let it come out. Just let it come out.
That's pretty unique. I don't think a lot of people do that.
I don't know. I know that for me, at this point in my life, I've learned to like just let things be, let it happen organically. You know,
Don't question it. Don't try to push it.
I think I said something in an email to you. You know, if it happens naturally, organically, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's better that way. It's better.
Well, and I don't think it requires a lot of explanation or a lot of all the technology and all the work that seems to go into some parts of making music. That sounds like it, and I don't mean to belittle it. I'm trying to say it because of its simplification and because of its kind of trueness, it sounds more appealing that way. I mean, this is a real moment. It's not like it's an overproduced,
Right,
shiny,
Yeah.
perfect little thing. This is a
Yep.
very raw, real moment,
Yep.
and that's the attraction.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, me being the jaded jerk that I am,
And you have no hair.
I don't know why you start growing your hair back, and now you're all right.
I'm just kidding.
What I was gonna say was that type of feeling it's hard, or do you find it to be difficult to truly capture? Because in today's society, everything's about, hey man, time management. Let's get another hit out. Let's get another song out. Let's go. Product. What have you produced today? And you know what I thought I was hearing from you was, I'm going to put something out. I'm just going to relax about it. I'm not going to pressure myself to have to get something out, because then it's not going to be what it could be.
Yeah, but one thing about me is like when I was younger, DJing and producing and stuff, a lot of my close friends and family, they were like, "Oh, you're so good, man. Travel, do this, do that, like get it out." And I was just kind of like I knew I was good. I believed I was good, you know. Now I just think I'm gifted, but they were like, "Go do this," and I wasn't feeling it just because for whatever reason. But now I've matured, and my lifestyle is such that when I wake up in the morning, like I do prayer and meditation, stuff like that. So it's a lifestyle. So I don't have to try. Like if there's a piano in here right now, I could probably play something would come out, and I guarantee it could be something pretty hot, you know? So it's not something I try to do. And as far as, you know, frequency at which I put stuff out, it's just, you know, I run my own label, right? I have a distributor. They want to see, you know, X amount of whatever, but I have like a huge catalog of stuff. I don't think all of it's worth being put out. Some of it's just not that good, but I don't worry about it. It just happens. I mean, and I feel like I can be clutch in that regard too. If I need to put something out, you know, I won't try to do it. I'll just sit down and boom, you know, whatever comes out, that's what it is. That's me as a producer at face value, right?
Right. So
You
you
know what
don't
I mean?
you don't feel limited by
I don't feel
the
limited.
time crunch of today's society.
I don't feel limited.
Good,
I don't feel limited.
because I get nervous by this podcast. There's nobody paying me anything. I have nobody saying I have to have it out every week. You know, nobody has any rules on me and what we
Right.
do. Yet I put stress on myself because I have expectations of, I want the show out every week. You know, I want to meet interesting people. Is everything set up just right? Is all the equipment working just right? But I'm not making a living at it. You know, I can only imagine the stress
Right.
that I would have to learn to deal with when I'm like, all right, this is my moneymaker. This is my whole career. This is what pays the bills.
I think for me, this is how I live, you know. For me, it's just I wasn't always ready to do what I'm doing now. And it took me getting beat down a few times, just, you know, from the industry, from people just like doing me wrong, whatever, to learn that I have my own demographic, right? I have my own gifts, you know. Time is just an illusion, really. That's how I think of it. It's just an illusion, you know. And what comes out of me comes out of me. When I want to put it out, it's when it gets out there. And there's no stress. There's no stress. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. It's already done, you know. It's already done.
And do
Don't
you think
wish you had that attitude? You would
Yeah.
say,
Well, you know, yeah,
I know it
I really
sounds-
do. I wish I had that attitude. But do you feel like you've gotten to that point because of just maturity, because of age, because you've gone through difficult times and you had to weather those storms and like, yeah, this is who I am now?
Okay. I think in regard to maturity, maybe time isn't an illusion, because time can cure things. You know what I mean? So yeah, time has definitely helped, but I changed my lifestyle a lot. Like, I'm not perfect. I mean, I'll party, I'll do whatever, I'm not a perfect guy, but my day-to-day routine, like, my life is easier when I wake up, when I meditate and give gratitude to the things that I really want to manifest in my life. And it just makes things easier. It's just because I used to be really stressed out, stressful, just like, dude, and it made me sick,
Right.
literally. So now I'm just like, okay, this is me at face value. This is all I got to do. All I got to do is just be a channel, just let it come. And it's endless from where it's coming from. Like the sky, like my goals, my dreams are nothing compared to what is really in store, if I just continue to let things happen, organically and just
That's a really beautiful
just flow.
idea of, God, how different would our world be if everybody, I realize everybody, there's a job for everybody. Not everybody can just wake up and meditate, or maybe everybody could.
But the right attitude would be helpful.
Yeah, the right attitude. If everybody could do what they love to do, if everybody could wake up in the morning and say, I just had this conversation with my wife the other day. Why is it that it's so easy to say, if I did this, I would love who I am. If I did this and I did that, and if I did that, oh yeah, I'd be so much better physically, mentally, my health would be better. And then I almost go out of my way to sabotage that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're looking at, okay, these are my goals. This is what is really important to me. This is my music and the output of this product. And if I just do X, Y, Z, if this is my recipe, I have to change my lifestyle so that it really supports my dream.
Yeah, it's a practice, man. It's like, by no means, like, I'm not Michael Jackson or anything. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm ascending to where, I want to be. I believe that, but it's a practice, man. It's like, I worked at a law firm for a handful of years. Then I worked at this software company. And one day I walked in, I sat down at my desk, and I was like, the only thing that's keeping me from just quitting and just like doing my own thing, like doing what I'm doing now, is money. Like money was holding me hostage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then I thought, like, well, if I'm making this company, X amount of dollars, and I'm making this company X amount of dollars, why can't I just do that for myself? Right. And that was the first thing, just realizing that I could do things on my own. I didn't need, all these other things to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. And then after I did that, and it was tough, over the last 2 years, I got more meditative, if you will, whatever, just chilled out more and just realized, like, seriously, what's really important, like what my gifts and qualities are. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
yeah. Well, that first hurdle is a huge one.
It's huge.
It's
huge.
A ton of people, the majority of people can't get over or can't release themselves from the idea. Same thing.
But maybe you said, like you said earlier, maybe you need to, instead of doing what you love to do, maybe you approach every day, no matter what that job is or that work is, in a loving way, and that'll change the world that you're living in.
Right.
You approach it the right way.
I just think what he's doing is a good example of whether you're fat and you want to lose weight and your end product is, this is who I want to be. All right. Well, then just tweak your day.
Yeah.
How do you start your day?
Yeah.
How do you end your day? What are the little things in your day? Like, really plan it out. And it sounded like that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
This
is going to sound real silly, but one thing that I do now is one of my boys showed me this video of, like, the leader of the head of the military, whatever. And he was talking. But to make a long story short, the Navy SEALs in training, they have to make their bed. The first thing you do is make your bed. Because the thought behind it is, if you make your bed, you accomplish one little simple thing. it makes you feel like, okay, I can go and accomplish this now, and accomplish this now, and accomplish this.
So
now.
really small steps.
So I make my bed every day now, and it helps me so much. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. Okay, I got this done. Next thing, boom, boom, boom. Try that.
Interesting.
I don't know if you guys make your bed or not, but
Well,
I do.
when my wife is still in bed, she gets angry when I try to make it.
I do. I make my side.
same here.
What? Really? In the morning, you make your own side of the
Yep.
bed.
It's not.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like I'm not a thrasher, so it's not like my bed's destroyed.
You know what? Maybe after I throw one of my 3 kids out of my bed.
I hate talking about this. This drives me so fucking nuts. Let's not talk about your kids in your
Wow,
bed.
you got really
Yeah.
angry really quickly.
Let's not talk about that anymore.
It's not even your bed, dude.
I know, but how
It's
can you
my
sleep?
bed.
But guess what? I got to see it when I did the Chicago Marathon. I invited him and his kids to come with me, and I already had a room rented. I was like,
No,
you don't have
not-
to rent a room. I got one. And so he and his 3 kids slept in the king size bed.
Great
and I
example
slept,
of what not to do.
And I
Kevin.
slept in a chair off to the side, and I wanted to get in there, but there was no way. So I picture in my head him and his wife and their 3 kids, and I'm thinking about no intimacy at any point during that time period, and having no space. I like having an area that's just mine. It doesn't mean I don't love my children.
I tell you
This
what,
is my little space.
you really go to a completely different level in a relationship when you're looking over at your small child as you're having sex, like constantly, like you're looking.
Seriously?
No, like you're looking over to make sure that they don't wake up.
I understand that part. That's kind of gross, though.
We're okay. No, we're still okay. Shh, be quiet. No,
That's
we're fine.
funny.
You good? Was that all right?
You're-
When
so full of shit.
when your life is so busy, not busy, just my life is just chaotic.
That's just what you have to do, huh?
Well, my wife,
That's how you got to do it.
my wife nurtured my youngest son when he was 2.5 years old, and he came to live with us. He
bonded heavily.
Yeah, my wife and him, I don't know what it was. Like she just took it upon herself to say, "You're never leaving my side," and that's what he needed. Absolutely what he needed. But from the get go, I go, "Honey, just take him back to his bed. If you want to lay with him for a second, fine, but please don't bring him back in bed. I got to wake up at 4 a.m. He's waking me up. He's kicking me, whatever." Yeah, he's 9 now.
Wow.
And my kid the other night had a bad dream, and he snuggled with me, and I go 3, 2, 1. How you doing, buddy? Doing all right? Yeah, I feel better. All right, I'll walk you back to your bed.
You know what? That's so comforting. 3, 2,
I don't.
1.
It was in my.
All right, hey, you awake? You asleep? You almost drifted off there for a second. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Because I was thinking of like the arm roll when you have your arm under a girl's head and you're trying to like sneak out of the bed and you're pulling your arm out.
That's surprised you remember that far back. It's a long time ago.
It was from a movie. I'm good with movies.
Okay.
But yeah, I try to do that with my kids. Like, Dad, will you come sleep with me? Can you tuck me in and lay down with me? I love you, right? You know I love you. And the fact that I'm getting angry about laying down with you shouldn't be that thing.
Right.
All right? Anyway.
I do think they need their own space too. I love going in and tucking my kids in and saying goodnight to them. I love them, give them a kiss.
I'll try to make my bed. I'll try to make my bed in the morning.
Try it.
How did the Shine remix with John Legend and the Roots happen?
It was a contest for I forget the name of the company that did it. But anyway, I just submitted my mix, whatever.
And so how's that work? Do you take their song and then you do what to it?
They give you all the pieces to the song.
Okay.
Then you can choose to use other pieces. You can choose to just only use one piece, whatever. I think I used his vocals. And that was it.
Okay.
And everything else I played, and I laid drums down over it, whatever. And I was in first place the whole way. And
Oh,
there's-
awesome.
Yeah, there's probably 1,000 people. Plus
Did you get in trouble for not using Questlove's drum or no?
No. No.
Did you read his book, Mo Meta Blues?
No.
Oh my God, his autobiography is fantastic. Because I read the whole book and I was like, oh my God, I remember that song. Oh my God, I remember that album. Because it was all like late 70s, early 80s. Oh my goodness, everything. And then he introduced me to a bunch of new stuff that I hadn't heard, not new stuff, a bunch of old stuff that I had never heard before. But I highly recommend the autobiography. Mo
He's
Meta
a gifted
Blues.
dude, man.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's one of those guys I want to meet really bad.
One of the things that I ran into with just doing this podcast, and I didn't know if you had any insight into this, we could help me out with. When you're recording something, or when we're putting something out there, and I'm like, oh, I really like the sound of that, because at first, within like the first 5 recordings that we did, I said, Todd, what do you want to do for like an intro music? He goes, oh, I love this song. And I love this song. I'll just send you a list of songs that I love. And then we'll take a section out of it to where they're saying something and we hear the song and we'll just kind of go right into the podcast. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then I realized can't do that. You can't just take somebody else's song.
Right.
How understanding the legality of music, do you have your head wrapped around that, or do you have to ever, well, because you're creating stuff all on your own all the time, do you ever have to worry about when somebody's buying something, a song from you or a beat from you?
The way I look at it, as far as my own creations go, is the way the music industry works now is artists don't really make money off of sales of music.
Really? It's all just the...
I'm sure the big ones do, but they make their money off of touring nowadays because the internet. If one of your homies buys a song and you want it, you can, burn a disc or just download it from it, whatever, it's... So I don't really worry about it. Legally, I take the necessary steps to make sure that if somebody does steal something from me, that I can, pursue some type of legal action.
Is there certain music that you use that you sample from? Do you ever sample from? You don't sample at all. Okay.
Well, I have done some remixes, but I don't sell them. It's just kind of, for whatever.
Yeah.
But my own stuff, I don't sample. I play it all. I compose it all myself.
Was that what you were talking about? You were thinking about sampling, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about there's a lot of different facets that people don't. The run-of-the-mill person who just listens to the radio or listens to a podcast, or they want to start their own thing, and they're wondering, I don't know anything about music. I just want to talk. So how can I get that sound in front of my podcast? Or what's the legal issues that we run into? Can I listen? Can I play a YouTube video? Oh, I can't play a YouTube video if it has commercials. Because whoever posted that YouTube video is being paid, because of the commercials that right. they posted on their YouTube page. So if I play it, I'm not dealing with their commercials. It's not me. So we can kind of hear it a little bit, but I can't show it
right
on there. There's just a lot of unknowns when it comes to legality and this new huge social media experiment that's going on right now.
Yeah.
You have stuff on your Facebook page. You have stuff on your website.
Yep.
If somebody were to listen to that and go, oh, just record.
Yeah. Yeah. It just depends on what they want to do with it. You can't take somebody's song and say, produced by Kevin Bassett if it's not. In regard to the video and stuff you guys do, you can use people's music. There's entities set up now that track. Okay, so for instance, there's this company that I can use. When I'm ready to release something, I can send it to this company, and they take like some type of digital, matrix type print of my song.
Okay.
So, if it gets played online, they can track it.
Oh, God, that's crazy.
Like
with all the stuff that's on the internet, they can track
like
your
a
song.
fingerprint of your music, and they
right.
God,
so
that's crazy.
So there's two different ways to look at it. It really depends on what you're doing with the music. If you have if you're getting like 5 million hits a day, whatever, and you have one of Beyonce's songs on your video, they may say, hey, if you're making money off of your video, we want to cut. And there's entities set up to get royalties from YouTube and from all these web.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah.
It's the dark side of the internet.
Well, I think people that walk into it naively
right.
can get really in a bad spot. quickly.
Well, it's like they're saying that we can't even hum the music from Jeopardy because that's copyrighted. And I was like,
You know,
how
is
that
it
possible?
is that a true thing, or is it like urban legend? Like, oh no, I heard if I do this, I can get.
I've heard
kinda
that on more
both.
than one thing.
It's kind of both because again, with the internet, the objective is if somebody were to take one of my tracks and put on their video, I would like that
Right.
Because your sound is getting out there.
because it's getting out there. So it really depends on who the party is. You know what I mean? So
So did you grow up on rap and hip hop as well, or was it really mostly techno and house music when you were younger?
no, I grew up in the church, so I heard a lot of gospel, a lot of blues, a lot of jazz, a lot of Motown stuff. So I guess when I got to elementary, middle school is top 50 stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. Yeah, I liked hip hop. You know what I'm trying to say? I liked hip hop. I like all types of music. I even like country. I'm not going to go buy a country song, but I'll listen to it,
I'll listen to it once in a while.
Can I say,
Country?
Yeah, go ahead.
one thing about country is that it takes a lot of things from blues and gospel.
Right.
So at certain points in the song, I'll hear same riffs that I'll do in church.
Oh.
So, it's all relative, really.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all relative.
Have you heard Tino Cruz, the rapper, Cedar Rapids?
No.
He was in the podcast. Well, he's way back.
Hmm.
But
Tino Cruz?
Tino
Tino
Cruz.
Cruz.
I can't remember his actual name. That's his stage name.
His stage name.
But he works
Yeah.
for Steve Shriver at Eclipse. And when we were with Steve, he gave us a tour of the back of his shop. And he's like, oh, this guy's a rapper. You've got to hear him. So he ran back and bought a CD off of him and gave it to us. Yeah, he's a pretty down-to-earth kid.
Yeah, and I thought,
Does he have a label? He has records, but does he have a label?
I'm not sure.
We
I'm not sure
we should
exactly.
hook- we
If
should
you
hook
want to
these
check
two
out
guys
Tino
up.
Cruz, go to YouTube and just type in TinoCruze. Tino Cruz. And
Coolin is a good one.
what?
I've
yeah.
met him.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a quiet.
I've never heard him rap, though.
Oh, you know what? I'll play it for you real quick. We won't put the. I'll cut this out too.
This he won't. It's just like he was saying. He won't.
What I like
He'd
about
love this if it was on there.
Oh yeah, exactly. He'll love it.
what I really like
That's
about Tino and other artists like Tino, which I don't know a lot of them, which is why I do the podcast and meet really interesting people, is when somebody's just like, yeah, I've always liked this. I met so-and-so. We went to a local place and we filmed it. It's just very simple. You don't have to be a Hollywood star to put out something
Right.
amazing. You know?
And what makes like this, what I like about his music is it has some melody, it has some instruments in it besides just being.
Yeah. He's got skills.
I mean, it was the guy who was filming that did a pretty good job with it. A real good job with the video. I like the look of it,
Yeah.
but you can definitely tell where that's being filmed,
Right.
you know, because you're from here,
Right.
right?
Right.
For sure.
He's got skills.
Yeah, I like him. But I mean, you're right. It's nice that you and I have bumped into enough people who have bumped into enough people,
Right.
and we get to go, oh shit, a rapper in Cedar Rapids? What are you talking about?
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
rappers
awesome.
in Cedar Rapids.
There's what?
There's a lot of rappers in Cedar Rapids.
See, I'm totally out of the loop.
I mean, there's a lot.
There was one guy, some white guy, that got some radio play for a
You're
while.
being really specific, and I love it.
I know, but there's not a lot of white. There's not a lot of white
or
rappers,
some-
period. But there's some guy from Cedar Rapids that got some notoriety for something. Fuck.
See what I deal with right now? Do
Well, it's not that bad.
My co-host sucks.
Are you gonna take that?
That
Oh,
one
he doesn't
guy,
mean it.
that one guy
He
from
loves
that
me.
one place, he played that one song. You would know it if you heard it, you know.
All right, never mind. Jeez. Play that.
Play what? Play
that, A Tribe Called Red song.
All right. All I did All I did was pull up their website.
Oh.
Okay, so this one, you want me to just hit play on that? The sound is not very good because it's coming through the TV. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. That's just for us.
Oh, this is the one you... Yeah.
I told you. And he started freaking out.
I wasn't ready
This is
for
sick.
it.
This is an awesome song, though. It's mean.
All right, this is where I said, shut the shit off. Shut up.
It's that buzz that...
Yeah.
You know, it was the crazy ass screaming that made you had it blasted in my ear. I wasn't ready for it. And
No,
as soon as
you
they
said
started
you
screaming,
didn't.
I said, turn
you can
off.
stop it. You were saying that you didn't like that sound in there because it's almost like interference in a microphone, kind of like you know, when you plug something into something. You didn't like that electronic kind of like buzzing sound.
I just wasn't prepared for it. It's
it's a unique song.
I'm trying to hold back. Normally, I'm a lot dirtier, but it's kind
Why
of
are
like
you trying to hold back?
Don't hold back.
all right. It's just like a finger in the butthole. You can't you can't just jam it in there. You gotta go easy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, "Hey, Matt, I have this song. I like it, and I would really like you to listen to it. Are you ready?" And I'm not looking at the volume, and you're just crank. And all of a sudden, people are screaming in my ear like they're being murdered. I'm like, shut that shit off. I don't want to hear it.
You said it was that buzzing sound.
All right. Well, it was all of it.
Okay.
I wasn't ready for
Well,
it.
I'm glad you're honest with me now. A year later.
I try not to be honest with you at the moment. In the moment is when it's the most precarious.
Yeah.
But if you were to like gently take me into a tribe called Red.
One of the reasons why I liked it is it's like a Tribe Called Quest. That's where they got their name from. And they're one of my favorite bands of all time.
I think it's unique. I think it's kind of cool.
It's unique. You have a favorite rapper?
No.
No. Do you have like a favorite old school rapper? Like if you had to pick someone from way back in the day that were kind of like...
Run DMC.
Oh yeah. It's good stuff there.
Yeah.
I'm a Chuck D fan. I've always
Yeah.
been a Public Enemy fan my whole high school. That's what I grew up on in high school was Public Enemy.
Now,
Music, you can hear some of my releases coming out.
these are?
If you go to music,
Okay. I'm on kevin-bassett.com/music.
yeah, click that. Click play.
Oh, just there?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one of my ones I like a lot.
And this is a EP, so like I have, I think 3 different versions of it coming out.
What's that mean, EP?
Anything with, I don't know, 2 to 3 songs versus a whole album that has
Okay.
like 10 to...
Okay.
Oh, EP instead of like LP?
No.
Nothing? I'm asking. I don't fucking know.
I'm looking
Don't
at you.
look at me
I'm
like-
looking at you like, dude, are you serious? I had no idea until I just asked him.
Yeah.
It's something with 2 or 3 songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of
And
an
is
LP.
and I mean, does LP mean you have more songs on it? That's all I'm just saying. Is that the way they say EP?
What is
EP or
LP?
LP?
What's LP stand for?
I don't know.
LP, but I mean that's an album. A full album is an LP, right?
LP.
You know what?
See?
Siri, what does LP stand for?
How you like that 6+? Pretty nice.
I like it a lot.
Matt's thinking about having one. I love
I like
mine.
it a lot, man. It's kind of tough to hold in one hand and get stuff done, but it has that feature where you can, if you have something open, you can double tap and it, you know.
All right.
Sick.
But here's the bad thing. It's not user friendly. All right, it is user friendly, but it doesn't play well with other devices. Like if I get a movie, right? If I get a movie and I want to watch it on my iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
I already have the movie. I already paid for it. I have the digital copy. Getting
That's what the
it,
cloud's for, and
yeah, but then you're kind of locked in. You're kind of a prisoner to the cloud. Like I had an iPhone. I had all that
Yeah.
stuff, and then when I went away from it, it's still all on my iPhone. I
Right.
can't get it onto my other thing. Now I'm sure there's people that are like, "Hey, Matt, you're stupid. Just download this software." And it. I don't have time for that.
But see, that's why I went from an iPhone to a Galaxy. But everything that I had before that iPhone, everything I purchased on iTunes is still there. So when I got a new iPhone, I just got it all
Synced it.
back.
Yep.
Dude, I can't imagine. it's really
LP
kind of
means
hard for me
long
to wrap
play,
my
by the way.
brain around what you do, because I would get lost. Like I really abused LimeWire and Napster back in the day, right?
I think we all did.
Yeah, and this is when you had Music Match. That was your your audio player on your computer, and I just had thousands and thousands of songs, and I thought this is gonna be so convenient. But what did I do with 90% of my off time? Instead of listening to music, I was categorizing,
Right,
so that I
right,
could
right.
find it quickly
And
But
burning.
But I
and
had so
burning
much
and
music.
burning.
I had so much stuff there that I didn't see 99% of it.
Right.
Do you find yourself kind of getting lost in all of the music that
All
you do?
my music stuff is an organized mess. It's not like it's just a mess, but I know where to find it. I just, I don't name stuff. I don't give it like a good title when I'm
Right.
done. Like if I'm done right now, say just,
Kev's Funky
I'll go like
Beat
this and
mix
just-
number 1.
It's like walking into like you see like you have this idea in your head of like a news reporter, like or a carpenter, a home guy, and the wife comes in. And, I can't find anything. I got a system. I got a system. Don't touch anything. Don't clean this.
right.
I got a system.
EP means extended play, more than a single, anything more than one song. And
Yeah.
LP is a long play.
Look at
See,
you.
don't look at me like I have a third head grown out of
No,
my
no.
neck.
I'm gonna look
It's
at you like that because you Googled it.
Why? Don't you Google shit? That's what you do.
No, I do. But you just
Oh.
said it like it's matter of factly.
But you said EP.
You don't know this.
EP, LP, music. I said it like you don't know what this means. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Did not
yeah.
mean to present myself that way. I apologize.
You're so kind right now. We're kind of on our best behavior right now.
Why?
Hey, Kevin,
You
you
just talk
also.
about sticking a finger in somebody's butt. I'm not sure that's the greatest behavior that we could.
It was a good example, was it
was a
not?
great example.
It was
I
a
think-
great example.
I think
you
we
can't
should-
just rush right in with the whole
Do
finger.
you look for artists for your record company, or do you
No.
just kind of wait to see what happens? And
No, I know a couple dudes that are like friends, whatever. We used to DJ together, all that stuff, but it's just a matter of them starting to produce and do their thing.
but what if like Tino Cruz said, "Hey, I'm looking for a record company to be part of. Do you do distribution? Do you do all that? I mean, I don't even know all that stuff's involved.
Okay,
I'm just
so
wondering.
as far as my label goes, A.E.H.
Mhm.
Okay, that's my mother's initials. She passed away in '99.
Okay.
So that's in honor of her. So anything that comes from my label has to be like good energy behind it, like talented people, like nothing dirty, like no,
Sure.
whatever. So, I mean, if it's clean, if it's good, if it's talented, I mean, I consider it, but I'm not looking, and I'm not sure people are looking to be on my label. The purpose of my label is just to put my own stuff out there.
Sure.
Dude, that just gave me such a warm fuzzy.
But his mom.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's I don't think enough people put that type of heart and
Thought.
love and thought into what they do, and that really kind of caught me. I it's not that I expected less.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting to hear that, and that's really beautiful.
Cool,
I
thank
also,
you.
by the way, I also cry when I watch Time Traveler's Wife, and I just recently watched When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle. I just recently watched that again,
And cried.
and I cried a little bit. I'm just saying I'm in tune with awesome. That was
Yeah.
a
Thank
really
you so
awesome
much.
thing.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Why are we criers? I don't get it.
Why are we crying? You don't
Oh.
cry at Time Traveler's Wife.
As I don't waste time on shitty movies, but I cry
It's
at
not a
plenty
shitty
of
movie.
movies. Dude, it's a terrible movie.
I
Did-
cried at Despicable Me.
There's some
Straight
there's some sappy parts of that.
The little girl, oh my God.
Oh
it just got me.
yes.
Wait a second. Wait.
I am
When
totally
she's
with
like
you.
beep beep beep.
I think it's towards the end, and she's like going to bed, and maybe he like kisses her or something. And she got happy, something like that. And I'm like,
Oh, I got a little verklempt. Absolutely. You better believe it.
Do you got kids?
no,
You
not
don't
that
have
I know
kids.
of.
Not
Good
I don't
answer.
have kids. I don't have
Good
kids.
answer.
Not yet.
You're not married?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
What?
Spiritually, I am not legally.
Oh, so you have somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
well, that's
Absolutely.
good. Good for you.
man, we could just go right down into the whole marriage, the whole marriage talk.
Let's do it.
About don't do
Ah.
it. Is that what you're gonna try to say?
No. I think it's cool. I think it's great when you find that person that is Here, this is who. When somebody's at that place in their life where they're like, "This is me. I know how to make me happy.
Yeah.
I'm at that spot. I'm secure with who I am," and whether it be a woman or a man, but they're good
Mm-hmm.
by themselves. They're great, and now all they're saying is, if you like this ride.
Or if you're a whole person,
If you
then
want
I'm
to
a
come
whole
along
person.
for this ride and you want
Right.
to help me be a better me,
Right.
awesome.
Right.
And I think that's really hard to find, let alone having it both ways. Oh, you want to help me be the best me? That's great. And you support me being just who
Yep.
I am. You love this. I want to help you do all the stuff you want to do.
Right.
That combination, I think people just flippantly look at it like, oh, you're hot. I'm hot.
Yeah.
I can support us,
Mm-hmm.
or you can support us, whatever. We both have jobs. We're good.
Or it's a fun ride for a month and it's not.
Yeah, it's so much harder than that, because when you do have kids and they're climbing into your bed at night and you don't have the strength to take them back to bed for the 8th or 9th time that night because you had to wake up at 4:00 in the morning, your best friend laying next to you, she or he better be your
Right.
best friend, or else it's going to be terrible. And that's when we have kids that are exposed to terrible circumstances. That's when we have kids going to school and being horrible friends and horrible students.
Mhm.
And then they grow up, and what do we have? We have criminals, and we have,
Mhm.
it's just, it all starts with these two people saying, I fucking really dig you. And
Right.
oh, you do? I really dig you. And I just think I think it's a lot harder and a lot more complex than what people think that it
for
is.
sure.
And when people rush into it when they're super young and they haven't even figured out who they are. Do you even know how to pay a bill? You're so young. Do you know how to pay a bill? Do you know how to get a job? Do you know how to cook for yourself?
Right.
Which I still don't know how to cook for myself. But do you know how to do some of these basic functional things? Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you know how to make yourself happy. Great. Someone's going to come along. You doing just what you do, someone's going to see you doing that and go, oh.
Right.
I know a lot of single people, and I think the most difficult thing for people is to make themselves vulnerable to that, and to another person. Just like be vulnerable. Like, okay, here's me at face value. Like, people are just afraid to say, okay, here's me at face value. Like, this is who I really am. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just making yourself vulnerable is the most difficult part about the relationship, or even starting one and being in one, So
Well, I think I decided a long time ago that I tend to get involved pretty heavy and pretty fast.
yeah.
And I kind of considered after a while, just like, you know what? I'm one of those people that just kind of throws it out there, and I'm
Yeah.
going to get the shit stomped out of me more often than not.
Right.
But that's okay, because I'm not going to stop change. I'm not going to change. This is who
Right.
I am.
That's
So
right.
I'm willing to take some kicks to the balls, and we'll see where we end up. Was all that for me earlier?
What?
Was all that a metaphor for my marriage? Is that what you're
What
trying
are you
to say?
talking about? No,
No.
I think of my mother. I think of my father. I think of people, early 20s who don't have a clue. They have zero idea of what realistic expectations are.
I
How to
think
make themselves
I
happy?
dated somebody when I was in my late 20s. I dated like a 23, 24-year-old, and she came across as mature at the time, and she could pay her bills, and she was out of college and was functional kind of a human being, but she didn't, like you said, she didn't know who she was yet.
Right.
And that's the
Right.
bigger thing, is that you start figuring out, how am I going to be able to be with somebody else when I can't even tell you what it is I want in my life. I can't tell you my long-term goals, what I want to do, what my dreams and my passions are. That's tough.
Yeah, and I think it's almost an epidemic going on with older generations. I mean, my parents divorced after 35 years. 35.
Wow.
After 10 years, you should pretty much say, okay, I've seen you. I know exactly who you are.
Right.
I either want to deal with you for the rest of my life or I don't. After 10 years,
Right.
when my folks divorced, I was happy.
I was gonna say there was a lot of not good things happening.
There was a lot of not good things happening,
Yeah,
but
big
I was
difference.
happy for him because I had seen them be so miserable for so long.
That's
And I
terrible.
thought, just stop. Quit doing it for me or my sister or any of that other stuff. Just stop and try to make yourself. You have one life. As far as I know, you have one goal. So get the most you can out of this thing.
Yeah.
And if you are really unhappy, just stop and figure it out. And, my mom has done an amazing job of staying single and figuring herself out. You know what I mean? Like
I couldn't imagine it.
she's
I couldn't
dated,
imagine.
she's dated and she's told me we have a pretty open mother-son relationship.
Gross.
Gross.
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Oh my god.
But no, I mean, she's just told me, like I went out, I match.com or something, met somebody for lunch and, she's in her 50s. So when my mom says, yeah, we went and had lunch and then he started asking me a lot of inappropriate things. I was like, so did it end right there? Sometimes it would end right there. Other times I just thought, why am I so shocked? She's a woman. She's a human being. She's
Right.
just, I have labeled this human being mom,
Mhm.
and I expect mom not to act like a human being.
Mom needs to get laid too.
Mom needs to have some fun too.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And, it was kind of the opposite for my dad. My dad was just, they got together and they got married. My mom was 17. He was 19. Can you imagine?
That's like my parents.
Really.
Yeah.
17, 19.
Yeah.
You don't even know. You have no concept of
Your
who
brain hasn't
you
stopped
are.
developing yet.
No.
Literally.
Right. And when you are attached at the hip to somebody, from the time you are a teenaged, hormone crazed person to the time you're in your late 50s, you still have no clue what makes you happy. Because all your life you've been thinking, okay, have I been doing this because I think it makes her happy?
Or you've been sitting back going, this is just the way it is, huh? Okay. And
Yeah.
that's the extent
This
of
is
your
life.
discovery. Yeah.
This is life.
I couldn't imagine that. Or put all your energy in your kids,
Yeah, sooner or later you have to, and that again, that is why really awesome relationships are a lot harder to come by than I think people give them credit for. Because one, you have to have that friendship, that awesome connection, right? And then two, you can't let that go. It is a struggle. You have to remind yourself. You have to make the bed every morning. You have to get into a system. I mean, you have to have a system. He has a system to put out creativity, to induce an environment for creativity.
Right.
Yep.
Right. You also, I think, for married couples, have to create an environment where you're constantly reminding each other why you're together or having new experiences. Hey, I'm going through life. Are you still with me? Or are you doing your own thing and I'm doing my own thing? And when the kids are gone, we're going to look at each other and go, who are you again?
Right.
Why do I like you? I love you, but why?
Right.
I've said I loved you for the last 35 years, but I don't even know why. I mean, you're a good person and you're somewhat attractive. I know I'm looking at you and pointing at
That's
you,
okay.
but I'm visualizing. I'm visualizing, like a woman. I think it's a lot harder, and these movies that make it like, oh, it's romantic and you're just it's natural. It's just going to happen. No, it's work.
Even the ones you hear about that are really great and seem so easy are work. You just don't see the behind the scenes things that go into it.
Yeah.
You have to work. Even if you get along great, there's going to be strife and conflict. And that's the key though. You have to be able to communicate to a point where you can deal with whatever life throws at you. As long as you're friends when you started, like you said,
Yeah.
that's the way you start. You keep at it.
I always thought Will Smith and
Jada.
I was always surprised that they were still together. Right. And then recently when I heard somebody say that Jada had made a comment that another woman in bed with them would be hot.
They have an open marriage.
I was just, it blew the doors off of
Crazy.
what I thought. I just looked at him and I thought, okay, this is the I would love to have a marriage where after all these years, I still look as happy as what they kind of look like. They still look happy. But I have these preconceived ideas of why are they still happy,
Right.
you know? So when somebody throws something out there like that, it just surprises me because I wouldn't have thought that comment would have came from somebody who's like, yeah, I'm really still pretty happy with my relationship, my time, my marriage.
I don't know, because I heard about them an interview where she said that they have an open marriage. She's like, he's Will Smith. You know, he's going to meet women. He's going to be around that all the time.
Yep.
It's kind of ridiculous for me to assume that, no, you cannot. And by the way, I'm going to be pissed off about it. She realizes the reality of the situation that they're in, so to speak.
Yeah, I heard her say he needs to do what he thinks is best for him.
Right.
And whatever that is.
And obviously she's cool.
Cool.
Is she really cool with it, though? I mean, that's the hard part. Is like, okay, maybe she's down with that.
But
I don't
that
know,
is a level. That is a comment that reflects off of a level of understanding.
Yep.
That
it reflects more of her than him, for sure.
That's their
absolutely,
understanding.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I still think all guys. We've talked about it. Old guys, young guys, doesn't matter what guy. A woman walks by, you smell the perfume, or you get a hint of a skirt. You're going to turn your head and look.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to happen. So it still amazes me that we expect men, the society as a whole, expects men. What? Are you a pig? Oh, Jesus, men are pigs.
Because
No, it's natural. It's not. If every man does it, I think it's natural. It should pretty much be natural. When a woman breastfeeds a child and all the women go, hey, that's natural. It's beautiful. That's nature. Okay, fine. I won't argue with you. You're right. It's natural. It's the most natural thing to happen. Okay?
But don't shame me because I want to see how big her areola is.
But don't shame men who want to have a very extremely healthy sexual appetite. That's probably the nicest way I can say it.
That was really well.
Don't shame it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's why don't people go, "Oh man, fourth girl this week. That is beautiful." It's natural. Oh, the guy's on a porn site again. That's beautiful. It's natural. But we don't hear that.
We talked about that last podcast about why women are shamed if they are promiscuous. But guys, it's if you're a player, you're it. You know,
It's society. That's how it makes you feel.
Yeah, I agree.
You know.
Yeah. Do you feel like men put more expectations on women, or do you think women put more expectations on women?
I just would have to guess it's equal. You know, I don't.
That's a safe answer.
No, and I'm being honest. I'm trying to think of my own relationship. I think it's equal, but I don't really think that I think trust is not. I trust you, so you're not going to do anything that I don't want you to do. Trust is, I spend time with you. I know you. I know the good things that you do. I know the bad things you do, and I accept that. That's what trust is to me. You know what I mean? It's like you accept that. So expectations, I mean, I don't really have much, you know?
This kind of reminds me of Josh Colburn when he said,
I was just going to say
you can marry somebody who, if they drink and you're okay with them drinking and you say, okay, hey, I'm okay with you drinking.
I love you.
I love you. Then that has at some point you can't say, hey, you're really drinking a lot now that you're married or whatever. You have to take that person for who they are and accept that fact.
Yeah. Not just accept them physically, but accept their tendencies.
Yep.
Because you're saying, I take you as a package.
Yep.
And so 5 years into the marriage, you saying, Jesus, can you just not drink? So I've always drank this much.
Right.
I've always been this
that
person. You know that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you either lied at the beginning of this relationship and you weren't cool with it, and you were just hoping to change me,
Right.
or you had to or you have to finally deal with it and just say, this is the guy, you know. But somebody constantly saying, you're gonna drink again. You're drinking again. Can you not drink tonight?
Right.
Are you drinking again tonight? That pushes somebody to drink
Yep.
more.
Yep.
But if you're just like, let's I'm not going to say anything. This is just him. And I love him or I love her. This is what she likes to do. She likes to go out on the dance floor and jump on a stranger and then slide down them and unzip the pants and unzip. My wife did that our very first date.
To you?
No. It wasn't even with me. Her and I were on the date.
Oh, wow.
We went into this dance club and she saw somebody that she knew. Of course, I didn't know him because I just met her. And she jumped up on this guy, then slid down him to the floor, and then to embarrass him, I found out later, she started undoing his pants. And I thought, at this point, I'm just like, I'm going to go get a beer. And I walked over to the bar this way. And then, of course, we got it all hashed out later. That's probably not cool.
Did you hang the ceiling fan that day? Or
No, the ceiling fan, for anybody out there who wants to really score points, if you haven't quite sealed the deal with the girl that you're dating, hang a ceiling fan
for her.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Women like a handy fella.
His tool belt.
Yeah. So I was kind of dating my wife when I was kind of at the very beginning. And
what date was this?
What date?
Where have you been on like a handful of dates or?
Yeah, just a handful. You and your wife kept pushing her on me. And she kept saying,
"You're welcome." By the way,
yeah, I am. Thank you very much.
Louise.
Him and his wife kept pushing her on me, and
she did not like him.
She didn't like me.
Yeah, she didn't like him.
And they kept pushing me on her, and we had dinner one night. This was maybe like date number 3, 4, and I said we were just talking, and she said, "Yeah, I have a ceiling fan in my closet. I just haven't put it up yet. I could do that for you. It won't take very long." Got it done. And then
in more ways than one.
And then that was that. And
Wow.
she was just really impressed with
when she hears that chain jingle.
Ching ching.
She's
Hey,
like,
look, feel the wind. Ching, ching. Yeah, it was like not James Brown. No, not James Brown. What is kind of the stereotypical love
Marvin
music?
Gaye is that
Marvin
song.
Gaye.
Or Barry White.
Barry White.
Hey,
Marvin Gaye.
baby.
Yeah.
That's not Barry White.
But
That
you
was
did the
something
brum.
Yeah, that's Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man.
But it was a third date. That's standard nowadays. They
Is
say.
it standard?
My wife was giving me shit because I was not like on the third date. Isn't this kind of how it works? The third date, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't even know."
Third date, what?
You get laid the third date, and I was like, "I don't know you yet."
Wow.
I'm not sleeping with somebody that I've only been on 3 dates with. What are you talking about?
I don't know if you guys have been out there lately.
I haven't been. So,
but it's a different paradigm. That I used to work with a guy who got a divorce, and he was still working with me when he got a divorce. And I said, "So how are you doing? You all right? You feeling all right? You depressed? You want to talk about it?" He's like, "Nah, man, I'm doing real good. I'm gonna see my 5th girl this week." What? He goes, "Dude, internet dating is the bomb."
is he country guy?
Yeah, and
he was
those
Southern.
apps, what are those apps called?
Tinder.
Yeah, he was Southern. He was Kentucky.
Tinder is the hetero one, and what's the Grinder?
Grinder's the
Gay one.
All right. I never know what
I don't
word to
yeah.
say. I don't want to offend anybody.
But he used to. But I mean, there was like code words too. Like if you wanted to come over and watch a movie on Match.com, that was get hooked up, and he did like 2 girls in a night one time, right?
You know, I want people to be
Jeez.
happy, but I also
Yuck.
think that you're
safe.
not allowed. Oh yeah,
Be
safe.
absolutely be safe. But when it's almost like a drug. Like you're not truly thinking about and dealing with, why are you divorced? What's wrong with me? What haven't I figured out about myself?
My first thought would be if I can call you to come over and watch a movie, how many movies have you seen this week?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That was my first thought.
Right,
Like that
right.
sounds gross.
Yeah, I don't think that went through this guy's head ever. Never.
Well, I think the funny part is we have a friend of ours that has been dating for a while, and he tells me all the time his escapades, so to speak. And I'm like, you keep talking to me about wanting to have a relationship with somebody and like settling down. You're in your mid-30s. I'm not sure you're going about it the right way, you know? And then he gets caught in this whole, he liked a person a lot, and she knew that he liked him, but she was with somebody else. Then she breaks up with the person she's with right at the same time that he started dating somebody else. And now he's like 10 dates in and is like considered a boyfriend now. But now the other gal is like, but now's the time. And he's like,
now's the time for what?
To date me. So dump this other girl. And now that I'm ready,
it's so
come date me. And I was like,
just, back in the day when women couldn't wear skirts that showed their ankles because it might entice men to go crazy.
Right.
They had to put skirts on the tables because men couldn't look at table legs,
What?
You've heard that, right?
Is that why?
Yeah, that's why.
No, it's not.
Google that shit. I'll wait for you.
Hold your horses.
Here we go.
Oh, wait. That one said Victorian table legs did not get covered up because of that.
It's not an urban legend.
The Victorians didn't cover their table legs. Everyone knows that the Victorians were sexually repressed. Oh, geez. This is like a documentary essay piece. Jesus Christ almighty.
You know what? If you want to chime in, do you think that this is a true historical fact that table legs used to be?
It's a myth begun by a 19th century British writer who didn't know.
It's fact. All right. I'm gonna give you a hard time for a little bit. You ready? You ready for this?
Bring it.
It's already been brought in.
Are you working on this website?
No.
Oh, you're not.
I mean, I am kinda.
Don't worry, Chuck doesn't listen to this.
Oh, sure.
Except every other week.
Yeah, we're supposed to change that. Here's the deal with this. We have the actual site is done.
The actual site is done.
I mean, it's done. It's been done.
What's his deal?
It's just a matter. He's got to get his
inventory up?
His inventory up
Before he wants to release it.
Yeah.
And he's too busy. He can't even get his inventory up because
anyway.
he's doing stuff.
Yeah, coming this spring. It's a good thing you didn't put a year on that.
There was.
It's sweet.
There was a year on
There was.
I would say it's a nice open book. 15, 16, 17.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But do you do a lot of web design?
Yeah, that's what I do, 9 to 5.
Oh, that's your full-time job.
Yeah.
9 to 5.
Your own company, or do you work for somebody?
My own company.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
I had to a year and a half ago. I had to learn everything from scratch.
Really? Web stuff?
Everything. Todd has kids that are my kids' age, and we've been best friends for over 20 years. So he comes over all the time, and we just get into these long conversations. And he said, "Hey, man, have you ever heard of a podcast?" No? What's that? Well, listen to this. So we got online. We were listening to people's having a conversation. I go, "It sounds like a radio show." He goes, "Yeah, it's like a radio show. We should try that. Let's just record ourselves into a laptop and just see how it sounds. And if we do more than 20, then we'll start investing some money." Right? We were investing money
10, 15
after
in.
the second recording, because I'm like, we got to buy microphones. We got to figure out how are we going to.
The best part is it started with one of those microphones that sticks up on a little stand like the little kids use.
Yeah, for like a conference call.
Right.
It's a little stick sticking up, and we tried that, and it was just
Omnidirectional.
horrible. And
Right.
then we got little teeny headset mics.
Which
And
was a little bit better.
A little bit better, but still pretty bad.
But then he was in the right ear and I was in the left ear, And then just that gradual progression where you get to one step and you're like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, then we got to learn this, and where are we going to put, who's going to be our media host so that when people download these, it doesn't crash our site. So
Right.
who's going to host it? And how do we link that to our regular website? And who's going to build us a website? Right? So I was just literally going YouTube, like YouTube video after YouTube video. How do I
Yep.
do this? How do I
Yep.
do this? How do I
Yep.
do this? And I should have just called you.
Yeah. It's all right. What do
Because here's our website now. This is TPSP Productions, and we're just using Squarespace format. One of the themes.
Sure.
there. But here's the bad part. I'm still so damn nervous to really delve into this, to make any changes. It's not exactly how I want to see it, but from editing to recording to updating and putting stuff on, I just feel like I have zero time. So
Yep.
there's
Yep.
you have to know when do I need a virtual assistant? When do I need to say this isn't my forte
Right.
and I need to hand it off to somebody else?
Right.
Do you find yourself doing that ever?
Well, with my own stuff, I take forever. So, I mean, in that regard, yeah. But professionally, I mean, my system is pretty much down packed now. I mean, I'm in and out. You know, I know what I'm going to do for the most part. I mean, there's certain trends and stuff with web. You know, I follow the latest trends. You know, but yeah, time is always there's not enough of it. You know?
Right.
So
Luckily, it doesn't exist for you, so you're set.
right. It's
Right.
just an illusion.
It's
Yeah,
an
it's just an illusion. You got it, buddy.
Yeah, because I
got all day long
I have some
to do
ideas
this.
for you guys, though.
what's that?
I have some ideas for you guys on how to
Make that a little bit
well,
more
just
appealing.
like to help promote what you're doing.
Yeah,
Oh.
because you know
That'd be great.
when people and this happens, I think, to a ton of people. You start taking your baby steps because you have an idea of what you want to produce. You have an idea of your dream, and you're like, "How do I get there from here?"
Yep.
You started before you even realized you started by banging on those pots and pans.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it took your whole life. You've been working on this your whole life.
Yeah.
To get to this point.
Yeah.
Whereas I've been working on this for a year and a half, and I'm like, my expectation, because I'm a grown ass adult, is thinking it should be perfect. By now, it should be done, and I should be really happy with it. But I'm not. You know, I'm
Right.
not completely. I'm not 100% secure with. All right, if I put this one thing here, I know that it's going to all the places that I need it to go to. You know
You're
what I
also
mean?
concerned about where the podcast is going. Is it going fast enough? Is it doing, we still have a pretty good grassroots kind of following. It's not exploding every day.
Right.
So, I mean, you're
Right.
concerned about
But
that
there-
as well.
Yeah, it's all the different aspects of a product. Similarly with you, I think about camera play. I had your brother come in. When we first when we first started thinking about going more than just audio, we were thinking, all right, could you come in, Corey, and just how I have zero idea how we could even make this work.
Yep.
Do you have any? Could you just a little bit of an idea on how this could work? Could you tell me? So yeah, he came in and he talked to us for a little bit.
Give us ideas for lights and camera views and things like that.
Right. And
I love the setup.
do you really?
I love it, man. It's fresh.
Thanks.
Seriously.
Well, thank you.
I
I
love
really
it.
appreciate that. It's comfortable for you.
Absolutely. You guys should we should hook up and do stuff for Nubo District.
We would love that
Because
that's like a second home to us.
I do nubodistrict.com, and we could plug you guys in there somehow, some way.
I have a meeting with Carol, Cindy,
Carol, Cindy.
Christy. I was so close.
Yeah, my thing's completely different. from
Oh,
what
it's
that-
different than that. What's
Yeah.
your thing?
Nubodistrict.com.
Oh,
You know
wow.
what? Let's pull it up right now. We'll
Yep,
take a
and
look at it.
And the Nubo
And
district.
what's that entail? What's on that?
Whatever's hot.
Okay.
Whatever's hot.
Cool.
Whatever's hot in Nubo and outside the district, So
Oh, that's very cool. Is that where we can see a lot of music coming up and things like that? I mean,
Yep.
that's on there?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I try to update it, as much as I possibly can. But I'm talking with some people about possibly being contributors.
Is this it right here?
Yep. I think it'd be hot if you guys had a little thing on there. It would help promote your podcast. Or
That'd be
whatever,
great.
You know,
guys-
besides just meeting interesting people, our big thing is helping entrepreneurs, small businesses get their word out there
Yeah.
for people, because there are so many cool things. It would probably blow our doors off if we actually we were aware of all the neat shit that was out there. Like 2 years ago, Kevin, I thought, what's so
It's the
neat?
most boring town ever.
What's so neat about Cedar Rapids?
Right.
There's nothing to do in Cedar Rapids.
Mhm.
Because all I did was I woke up, I went to work, came home, hung out with the kids. That's all I did. That was my life.
And then I said things to him like, "There's all kinds of stuff to do around here. There's all kinds of bands and music and stuff like that." But even I wasn't that. I was just brushing the top of what was available. I think.
But it really takes you injecting yourself into the community
Yeah.
and exposing that nerve,
Right.
you know, like meeting people. How do you meet people? Go down to Million Cups, which is held at
the Accelerator building.
the Accelerator building, but I'm trying it's just south of the Nubo Market.
Brand new big building.
Brand new big building. Go there every other Wednesday, and they have entrepreneurs like it's almost like Shark Tank. You know, they stand up, they have these ideas. There's teenagers in there saying, "This is the app that we want to create because we see a need for kids to be able to reach out and share painful stories and having somebody else say, me too." And that's what it was called. The app is called Me Too. I don't think it's actually available yet. They're still working on all the different aspects of it. But yeah, you go down to the Accelerator building. It's called A Million Cups every other Wednesday in Cedar Rapids. And then the offset every other Wednesday they do in Iowa City, Coralville. But two people present their business, and then it's open to the public, and you're just sitting in the audience, and they go, "There's my 6-minute presentation, and this is what I need. This is what I'm having a hard time with." It's how we met Lori Moritz from Sweet Raw Joy.
Mm-hmm.
She creates these desserts, totally raw, uncooked. You know, she gave her presentation. I thought, you're really interesting. I didn't realize you or anybody like you was in this area.
Right.
You know,
Well, Steve Schreiber. I mean, we happened to know somebody who knew somebody, and he let us use Brewhemia, and
right.
you know,
Yeah.
that got you connected with the Accelerator program.
Yep.
So-
And that Accelerator program got me connected with the Metro project.
Right.
So Metro is putting together a 40-year, this year is their 40-year anniversary. So Todd and I have been taking just a couple hours a week, if we can even do that. It's not that much, but we're doing what we can. But we're going down and meeting with the teachers and the students and helping them do their own podcast.
Wow.
Like,
That's great.
how do you storyboard? You know, how do you ask questions? How do you get comfortable in your own skin? How do you set up recording equipment? How do you set up the cameras? What do you need to look at? Proper lighting, you know, just your background.
And it's good. It's been helpful for me because I feel comfortable in this setting because I've been doing it so many times. But he was on Channel 2 News last Friday for his production company, him and his partner. And you said it was a little nerve-wracking.
It was a little nerve-wracking for me, but then again, I'm used to cameras, you know, being pointed at me and us having a candid conversation. But when you're in a different scenario, you know, when people are like, "All right, we got 5 minutes, and who are you?"
Right.
When you're taken out of your comfort zone, you need to really be able to fall back and go, take a deep breath. It's fine. I'm cool. I'm relaxed. This is how it is.
Also, I mean, you being there for 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, in and out fast.
Right.
One of the nice things about this is that we get a chance to sit down and relax a little bit.
That is the big, huge thing about this podcast and having these conversations that are so long. I know people are like, Jesus Christ, it's 2 hours, it's 3 hours, it's long. But when you have a 5-minute interview with somebody like we had, I mean, a real in and out quick interview with the Channel 28, Fox 28 guys the other day, they were great. You feel like you have to pack so much in so quickly.
Yep.
That when we left, as soon as we left and we were in the green room and we are just hanging out, the guy who owned the animal clinic,
pet store down
the
in
pet
Iowa City.
store, he walks by and he goes, "Hey, so what do you guys do?" And we just started talking. And 15 minutes later, I felt like I had a better conversation with the pet store owner and more legitimate information got out from him and I just talking, just real relaxed conversation than it did when we were in front of the cameras and people are like kind of grilling you, you know?
That's a difference between trying and letting it flow. You know?
Way to bring it back. Bringing it full
You
circle.
like that?
You weren't
Good job.
you weren't
I like that
you
a
weren't
lot.
letting it flow at all, were you?
No, I really like this nubodistrict.com. I'm going to check that out and we should talk more about that and maybe a little.
Yeah, you guys don't have to. You can edit this part out if you want. You know?
You don't like that?
I mean, you know,
No, I'm fine with all of it.
whatever
Yeah.
you think.
We're good with it.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
But yeah, I'd love to plug you guys on there, and it's your outlet to do whatever you want with it. Straight up. I mean, whatever you want to do, that's what it's for.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
That's great. We are going to wrap things up because we're trying to bring things down from 3 hours to 2 hours for the podcast. So,
You're welcome, everybody.
yeah, you're welcome, everybody.
My brother greatly appreciates it, probably.
So again, Kevin Bassett, if you want to check out Kevin Bassett, go to his Facebook page. You can check him out there, listen to some of his music, or you can go to his website, kevin-bassett.com.
And I legitimately really enjoy your music. It's
Thank you
really
so
great.
much.
I look forward to hearing some of that raw stuff you're talking about. That sounds exciting. I look forward to hearing that. That'd be fantastic.
Anytime you guys want to hook up, whatever, just come down and chill out at my place. I live down at the water tower, so
Oh, you do?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
I just
So sometime we can't walk home from Parlor City?
Yep. Shoot me a text.
I just really enjoyed meeting you.
Yeah, it was
and
great.
talking to you.
Thank
I
you so
think
much.
you're an extremely neat person.
Thank you so much.
I love how you do your stuff and why you're doing your stuff, and the name on your label. I think the whole package is a really neat thing. So check out Kevin Bassett. Also, one of the things that makes this podcast kind of neat from time to time is we get comedians in from Jeff Johnson. So go to usaentertainmentagencies.com and you can, what is it called when you, I was going to say you can.
Milk something?
Yeah, I was doing this milking thing. I don't know why I was doing this milking gesture with my hands. But you can secure yourself a comedian. Secure, and that's not the right word. I'm really struggling with the words tonight. I don't know why. But anyway.
Book?
Yeah, you want to go with the generic? I was trying to go with a more grandiose sound, but we'll just go with the mundane. Yeah, if you want to book an entertainer,
That's probably what Jeff would say. You want to book yourself a comedian, go right ahead.
Yeah, he's probably like, get on with it.
Yeah.
Go to usaentertainmentagency.com and book an entertainer today. Whatever you want. Weddings, festivals, corporate, college. The corporate thing is really, I'm really surprised there's so much corporate stuff. All the comedians we talk to that come through here are like, yeah, I got a corporate gig.
Well, you think about it. So I need to clear probably $3,000 a month to survive, right? Maybe a little less than that. They can book a corporate gig and make $3,000 to $6,000 just for one gig. You get one of those a month. You book 12 of those a month, or 12 of those a year, excuse me.
Yeah.
You're good.
But think about how difficult that would be. All right. Think of your worst case scenario audience, whoever they may be. You're going to show up and somebody's saying, Kevin, would you please entertain these people with some music? And you look out into your crowd, and I'm not going to say, I have no idea what your worst case scenario crowd would be. You're looking out on the crowd and going, oh God. Thank God I made my bed and I meditated and I prayed this morning, because it's going to take all of it.
Right.
It's going to take all of it for me to get through this.
Right.
But that's what these comedians do a lot of times. And, who was it? James Johan was just saying,
General Mills with the
I'll say
president
a
sitting
joke.
right in front.
I'll say a joke. If the president isn't laughing, no one else wants to laugh. No one wants to be that drunken employee going, oh, yeah, woo, fucking tear it up, James. Not in front of your boss. I might, but not everybody's me. So anyway, check out usaentertainmentagency.com and book an entertainer today. Todd?
Yeah.
You wanna tickle
Yes.
the wedding carriage of sauce hockey?
Sorry, Eric. Yes. Sasaki is really unique clothing, like Todd mentioned at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, don't go
some
crazy.
Some of the clothes you can get out there for hockey is a jersey or maybe a T-shirt that has your favorite team on it. They can actually, they are actually have incredibly comfortable clothes. A lot of NHL guys are wearing their clothes because they are so comfortable. Their hats are super comfortable and cool. So definitely go to Sauce Hockey and hook yourself up. And it's actually not too expensive. You would think it'd be like a boutique hockey thing because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like
I thought
it.
boutiques were for chicks in
Boutique
New
just
York
means
City.
boutique just means small and small and kind of like
I think of like the blonde and the brunette
right
store in the Nubo area.
Yeah. No, a boutique is more of like something that's just very small and like singular in their thinking, and they are because it's hockey clothing. But at the same time, it is pretty cool that he's finding a niche in the world, man. And he gives
Yeah.
back a ton. I think Eric isn't even involved in the business anymore. He is involved in the charitable part of Sauce Hockey, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about Sauce Hockey, if you go to YouTube and you type in Sauce Hockey, they have a wonderful YouTube page, and part of their page is they promote artists, musicians.
Yeah.
And it's really,
Kevin probably like that too.
Yeah. I was really, really, truly surprised by how much I enjoyed Sauce Hockey on YouTube. So
Yeah.
let me just type that in real quick, Sauce Hockey, so everybody can see their YouTube page. 'Cause
Well,
it's
one of the
pretty
guys
neat.
that he discovered and had on his YouTube video was on Glee this last season.
Oh, really?
The guy the kid you liked so much. I can't blanking on his name, but you liked one guy in particular.
Yeah.
And Eric was like, "Yeah, he's really a wonderful guy." He was on Glee this last season.
If you scroll down, here we go. Oh, the music exploration, Sauce Hockey music exploration. Here he is, Noah Guthrie.
Yeah, he was on Glee.
Was he really?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And because it doesn't have any commercials, I don't even know. I'm just talking out my ass. But Noah Guthrie, man, I loved this song live. You know, another feather in the cap of the idea. Live music is the best.
Except if there's crowds.
Yeah, except for the crowds. You watch this guy and you're thinking, I thought, how does that voice come out of that guy? I love that. I love being surprised like that.
He can play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Our love is strong, not enough to change it. And when I'm finally gone, you still have the strength to chase it. This is just our love, and it's always changing. We always run before we crawl, and I'm hardly singing now. Never heard a whisper scream so loud.
I love it.
If you're looking for
He has
Did
a
they
real...
shoot? Did they shoot this all at one time,
Yeah.
or was there multiple takes? Do you think in that?
One shot, one time.
Yeah. I think you just have multiple cameras
Yep.
all around just switching back and forth.
Because I wonder who Eric has producing and making these videos.
I don't know, but whoever it is, they're doing a great effing job.
So what? Wait, what? Am I interrupting?
No, that's okay.
Right.
So what is this now?
Eric Kleinek, he owns
Sauce Hockey.
Sauce Hockey, who we were just talking about with the hockey clothing.
That's from Cedar Rapids.
He is from Cedar Rapids. He now lives in Arizona, and his company, Sauce Hockey, also has a really unique YouTube page. And on their YouTube page, they bring in musicians, and they record a music video, and they're like, boom, put it on their YouTube page. It's
That's cool.
I never
Very
would have
cool.
I never would have seen him.
Well, and Eric talked a lot about how their company is centered around music and enjoying hanging out and playing guitars and singing along together and sitting in a bar having a beer and having ideas come to them while they listen to songs. So, I mean, they really have taken that kind of organic way of doing something to another level with having so many different things, so many irons in the fire. Man,
Yeah,
It's a lot.
Pretty neat stuff. So
Yeah.
go to saucehockey.com, check out their clothing line. And if you really want to check out something a little bit more, if you're done purchasing clothing, hats, what have you, go to their YouTube page and check them out, because really, really
Pretty
neat
unique.
stuff. And Todd.
Yeah.
If somebody's watching us on YouTube, what should they do? What else should they do?
the best thing to do is go to iTunes and go to Stitcher, either one, and type in theprimalscream.com, the Primal Scream Podcast, the Primal Scream Podcast, and we'll pop up on iTunes and Stitcher. You can follow us there, subscribe, please review and let us know how we're doing, good and bad. We'd like to hear all of it. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, as well as you said YouTube, but YouTube's a good one. I have lots of friends in California that pull up YouTube and listen to our show while they work. So they just close the window while YouTube is playing.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest way to listen to it.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that my partner was asked the other day on the news on Channel 28 Fox was what do podcasts bring to people unlike other things? And I don't think that my partner
He didn't answer
described it very well.
Nope.
I think he was a little nervous. So let me go over that again. The thing that is cool about podcasting and what we're doing and what a lot of other people are doing, having this conversation, but the medium to which this is coming out to everybody. If you're at home and you want to see what we look like, what our guests look like, check us out on YouTube. If you can only watch 5 minutes because that's all those little rugrats will allow you to pay attention to your computer for, fine. But then when you get in your car and you have your smartphone, or you're going to mow the lawn, or you're going to go shovel the snow off the driveway, or you just want to get in the mood before you go to work out, you can pull our audio up on your phone and carry on the conversation where you left off, which I think is cool. So when we have long conversations, you don't have to try to digest that whole thing in one sitting. Break it up. Break it up throughout the week. We're only putting out one a week, people. Just relax, you know?
I was say Joe Rogan does multiple 3-hour podcasts a week, and I can't keep up.
Right. But you take it in how you want to. People, you have to try and fit it into people's schedule. And the best way to do it is with podcasting, I think.
I think so too.
So,
no matter what Howard Stern says.
No matter what Howard Stern says, I won't bash him at all.
It's the king of media, buddy.
Yeah.
Bash him.
That's it. That's it for tonight on the Primal Scream.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Great.
I'm Matt. We'll see you later.
Adios.
Good night.